to give. Thinking it's too easy. You guys know that song? Yeah. So what you think about that? What's up, everybody? Welcome to DMBC Youth Online. It is so good for me to be here with you this week as we continue our series in Philippians. I wanted to talk about friendship. Back in my day, back before there were such amazing technologies like Instagram, Beanie Babies, ships, cell phones, karaoke machines, television sets, there was this thing called MySpace.
Before?
Oh, I've done the top 8 thing?
Yeah.
You think I should keep with it?
No one's going to remember it.
Well, that's encouraging.
Yeah.
That's really encouraging.
Really impactful.
Nobody will remember your sermons, Matt. Way long ago, before any of those things existed, there was this thing called MySpace. And MySpace had this terrible idea to make everyone have a top 8 where you had to rank your best friends in order for the world to see. So I want to talk about friendship and just the gift it is, and I think we see this. Philippians 1, 3 through 11. It says, I thank my God in all my remembrance of you, always in every prayer of mine for you all, making prayer with joy because of your partnership in the gospel from the first day until now. Paul is writing the book of Philippians while he is in prison. Look what it says in verse 3, I thank my God in all my remembrance of you. Paul's chained up in prison, and he's thanking God for his friends in the Philippian church. I wanted to point out that this church is not perfect. However, even with this in mind, Paul gives thanks for his friends in Philippi. This implies that Paul understands that friendship is a gift from God. Like, Paul thinks about these people he knows, these people he loves, these people that God has placed in his life, and he is grateful for this gift that God's given him. And therefore, Paul's heart swells up with gratitude, and every single time he thinks of these friends, he gives thanks to God. Do you take your friends for granted? God has given us hundreds of people in our lives that we don't deserve. Think about your parents, or your family members, or your cousins, or your schoolmates, or your teachers, or your pastors, or people you go to church with, or your Instagram followers, or whatever it may be. Think about all the people that God has placed in your life. How often do you thank God for them? Look what he says here in verse 3, I thank my God in all my remembrance of you. Like, he remembers these people, and then he thanks God for them. Maybe sometimes I fall into the trap of thinking that I'm only going to be thankful for the people who have earned it. Like, I'm only going to be thankful for, like, the perfect people in my life. And if anybody has failed me or annoyed me or hurt me in any way, I would never be thankful for them again. Sometimes we're only thankful for like a select few group of people. But Paul here is thankful for the whole church. He's like, every single time I remember you, I'm thankful for you. And these people weren't perfect, as we've already said, that they were flawed people just like you and me, but Paul chose to be grateful to God for them. It reminds me of this quote from Kent Hughes. Paul rarely thanked God for things. Paul thanked God for people who, despite whatever trouble they may have been to him, remained a source of joy and thanksgiving. Paul rarely thanked God for things. He was rarely thankful for air conditioning. And Paul was never thankful for the Wi-Fi. But what Paul was thankful for was the people in his life. Which leads us to my last point. Are your friends people you can thank God for? Are they godly friendships? Are they people who push you closer to Jesus? Or are they so corrupted and toxic and sinful, perhaps, that you can't even thank God for them? Because I want to encourage you, especially in this time, to surround yourself with people who you can thank God for, who encourage you to follow Jesus and to stay in the Word, and to mortify sin and pursue holiness. That's the kind of friends you need, and that's the kind of friends you can thank God for. So do you have those friends? Or Are your friendships so worldly that you would be spitting in God's face if you thanked Him for that? All right, guys, this was DMBC Youth Online. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'm praying for you. I love you. I want to hear from you. Please comment below. Share with your friends. Stay in touch and stay safe.